Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Now if you keep up with modern cars, you'll know that some luxury cars have fancy accent lighting with RGB and things like that. And if you've ever thought that you'd like that in your car, this might be the product for you. Today we're checking out a kit from Ezonetronics that lets you do just that. So we're going to see what's included, how to connect it, and we're going to test it by wiring it and mocking it up in one of my cars. So let's get to it. So in the box we've got a little manual, which covers the connections, what's included, the control, and app control, because this has app control, which we'll see later. We've got a set of controllers here. There's actually one controller per door, which we'll go into in a little bit, and a harness here. We've got a harness for the footwell lights. We've got our main control box and main harness, accent lights and the mounting kit for them, and our main LED strips. So this comes with 5 strips. We've got 4 of the same length, one for each door, and one extra long one for the dash. And as you can see, they're flat with the strip on the edge where the light will be visible from. And then another short one also for the dash. So you do on the left side of the dash and then the other on the right side of the dash. Now let's take a look at the main control box and the main harness. It comes with some 3M VHB to mount this in your dash. Our main harness plug right here, which will just go in like this. Might as well just connect it now. Everything is labeled. We've got an illumination wire. We've got a fuse tap. This needs to be wired to switched 12 volts and this ground wire for ground. We've got 3 harness connections here. One for the extension cable right here, which goes to the dashboards. So this is for the 2 dashboard strips. So you get some length to run from either behind the head unit or wherever you mount this into the dash and into our longest and shortest LED strips. We've got one for the footlight harness. So that is right here. So we get a lot of length on this one because there's one for each footwell. So driver front, passenger front, rear, left, and rear right, and they're all labeled. And this connects to these lights, which are our footwell lights. So you could make a cutout in your panel or just stick them in the kick panel to illuminate the footwell, which is very neat. And so these just plug in like this, right here. So we get 4 of these right here. And here we have our harness and control boxes for each door. And 1 VHB pad for each control box. If we look at our harnesses here, you'll see there's one for each door. So we'll check one out. And as you can see right here, we can wire them to 12 volt in the door and ground as well. So you don't have to run a harness from the door through the hinge into the compartment to connect to this, which is very nice. They'll connect to each other wirelessly when you power it on and automatically pair it as a set. So all you'll have to do is open up the door and place all your lights. So this will connect to our door controller. We'll need to find 12 volt in the door, and then we have our 3 light plugs. So these 3 are door strip, which we saw here, doorknob light, and storage case light. So that is the pocket inside your door. So this will illuminate your door handle area, your storage pocket, and the accent strip wherever you decide to put it. And the same thing for the other 3 doors. And as I mentioned, there is the pocket light and the door handle light. So this is the door handle light. As you can see, there's a little nub right here. And the way this works is you drill a little hole in a strategic spot so that it will illuminate it. And then you can mount it from the inside of the door so that just this part sticks out and lights up the door handle area. And there's actually a drill bit included that's the right size for the nub. Now we also get these little shaped adhesives for each one, which is very useful because when you stick it from the inside, you don't want it, it's not going to be friction fit. You don't want it to fall out. So that's nice that that's included. And then these are the door pocket lights. So they have a bigger diffuser. So it's going to cover a bigger area. And I believe, yes, you can pop them out. So that way you can have this on the inside of the door panel and then just pop this in through a little hole you drill. And that way it's just flush in the door. You don't have any wires sticking out. There's also 4 zip ties for cable management, and that's it. So Each door will have a strip, a door handle light, and a storage pocket light, and I'll connect wirelessly to the master box. So as you can see, this is a really comprehensive kit. It'll really transform the look of your car, and the wireless connection between the doors and the main control box is really convenient because running wires through the dash, through the hinge, inside the cable guide in the door would be a huge job. So with this, you only need to take your door panel off, figure out where you're gonna put your lights, snap it back in. Oh, and there's one last thing I forgot to mention. There's also a little remote. So in addition to the app control, there's a little 2-button remote here that can let you cycle through different options, turn the lights on and off, and things like that. And that plugs in right here with the main box. So now that we've seen everything that's included, let's get in a car to mock it up, connect it, and test it out. So we're in a 2004 Mini Cooper, and we're gonna test the system out in this car. Now you'll notice the first thing I've done is take out the radio because we need to find switched 12-volt power, ground, and the illumination wire. Now if you have an aftermarket radio, you'll be familiar with the illumination wire. It's usually the orange wire on the adapter harnesses, so you can tap into that. This varies so much from car to car that I won't go into too many details here. Now you'll notice on the main controller harness, there is a little fuse tab here. So you can identify a circuit that has switched 12 volts and just pop it in your fuse box. Or if you have a different type of fuse, you can use one of these adapters and then replace this and use a fuse tab. You can also tap this wire into the 12 volt from your adapter harness, the switch 12 volt, but you may want to consider adding an inline fuse as well if you do that. All right, so I'm going to connect all this and I'll be right back. We'll have this up in here, and then we'll connect our extension cable for the dashboard lights and our footlight cable. I've got my main controller box wired in. Essentially, we're going to have this living behind the radio. Depending on your car, you could also run this over by your fuse box or somewhere underneath the dash. I'm going to leave it in here because it's convenient. With the aftermarket radio, you can just pop it out, access it, make any adjustments you need. Our next cable connection is the main dashboard. So on one side we have our main connector here, and on the other side are connectors for the 2 dashboard strips. And so that is going to connect on the red plug on this harness. This harness has 2 different lengths for the dashboard light, so you want to keep that in mind when you arrange this. One strip will most likely go in this area, and the other on the other side of the wheel somewhere over here. So I'm thinking the harness should come out somewhere behind the steering wheel, potentially in that area. We can hide it away, hide the plugs, and then connect the strips on either side. So the short one would go here, and our longest one would go in this area. So depending on the car you have, you can tweak the routing that fits behind your paneling, under your dash, and adjust it based on where you want your strips. Now, I've actually found that the long strip will fit pretty well in this area, and I think that would look pretty cool. So it would run over the top, which would fit with the idea of connecting it right here. We could have this go all the way over there. We'll figure out how to tuck it in later, and it would accent the upper part of the dash all the way over to the steering wheel, which would be quite cool. And then our short strip would go on the other side of the steering wheel. So I'm gonna work on running this down here. I think I will feed our main connector here down, and I'll work on that and run it over to here. Now, if you're running any wires or harnesses near your steering wheel, you wanna make sure it doesn't interfere with your steering wheel adjustment. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. And we can plug our red wire to our red connector here. Nice and color coordinated, which is good. Now, just like with this dashboard harness, we have to do the same thing for the footwell harness. Now, this one also has quite a bit of length, and that's because it has to run from up front to passenger footwell, driver footwell, and then rear passenger footwells. So we have one side here is white. That's going to connect to our harness here, which says 2 footlight cable. And then we can route this. We've got 2 lengths that are a bit shorter, and then 2 that are longer. And so the front lengths would most likely run from behind the radio or near your fuse box, behind the dash. And then the rear ones would run inside your trim for the center console, probably to somewhere under the front seats to have a puddle light in the rear footwells. In this case, I'm going to run this up from the driver footwell and up here, and I'll connect these. There we go. And then I would run this behind the back of the dash into the passenger footwell. I've got one for the driver, one for the passenger, and then these two long ones I would run back into the rear. And with that, that is all the harnesses connected for the master controller, so we can tuck that back in here. Oh, and one last thing, we do also want to route the remote. So I can disconnect it, and I'm gonna actually run it up from the bottom. And what I'm gonna do is actually just, for demonstration, probably hook it right here so we have easy access. And that's our remote. Just have that here for now. Obviously, if you want it nice and tucked away, you could even put it in your glove box, somewhere that's nice and invisible to really keep it a factory look. With that, we can pop this in behind the radio, plug everything back in, and then move on to our door controller. Now, since we are going to mock this up, we also want to make sure everything works before we actually put them in their places. Then we can connect all our footwell lights. So at this point, since we're still testing, we don't want to close everything back up since we haven't finalized the installation. Now, to make sure everything works, I'm actually going to wire all of these to a switch power temporarily, and we're going to connect all the lights to these as well. So our door handle light, the door pocket light, and our light strip. All right, now, if I've connected everything right, this should power on when I turn this on. We've got lights. We've got rainbow animation. We have red now. Our door lights are blue. Our door accent strips are red. And our footwell lights are blue. That's really cool. And they're actually all paired. I've got the other door strips right here and the modules temporarily wired up. All the other door handle, door pocket wires, they're all right here. So you can see this would be like a pretty mild glow for the door pocket. And then just this little tip here would be for the door handle area. And our big strip for the accent. Take a look at the remote buttons. Let's see how it's controlled. So we have the M button and an S button. I'm gonna press through here. Start is a short press on the M button. So we can cycle through red, yellow, green, and you can see they're all the same color now. Green would actually be kind of cool in this car with the green dashboard. We have cyan. It seems like some of the default colors are actually color pairs. All right, then we have breathing mode. So you can go from dim to bright and back down. And flashing, which is pretty intense. Probably a bit distracting if you're driving. And then an animated mode. That's pretty cool. And in every mode, you can actually press the S button to cycle the brightness from 0 to 10. Then we have some animated modes too. This is a mode that responds to music. And then there's different sound modes, so we can continue this. So there's a lot of different options here. Now you can actually control it with your phone as well, with this app right here. And then to connect the car has to be on. So we're gonna open the app here and allow it to connect to nearby devices. And it's found it right here. So click that and hit connect. All right, we're connected. You can have it connect automatically. And turn it off, turn it on. Get different modes. So everything we went through here, but there's different modes as well, so single color, you can actually dim the strips or the door accents. And you can go to color here, and you can actually color coordinate, so you can do zone 1 and zone 2, so uniform color. It looks like there's a crossed wire. Yep. So you may notice that the accent lights and the strips don't actually match. I think there's a wire that's switched, but with the app, you can compensate for that. You might be able to see here, we have yellow to yellow, and then our red, green, and blue are switched. So that's why when we turn the lights on and we go to one color for everything, since our red and blue are switched, it's gonna be crossed there, so. Okay, just something to note. Now we're gonna work on the door. We're gonna take the panel off, find a place to wire one of the door boxes, and then install the lights. I'm thinking the strip could go in here potentially, and then the handle light will just live back here. Pocket illumination could be in the middle, but probably in the bottom. So we'll take a look, but let's get this apart. Now this process will depend on the car you're installing it in. Now there's clips all around, they're supposed to be. There we go. Now everything stays on the door, that's great. Okay, now we have to find 12 volts. Now it just so happens that previous owner of this car ran a wire into the door for some reason for power. So I do have a power source here. I tested that, and that's gonna be a good place to tap into switch 12 volt for the door illumination. I also have to find a ground, so I'm gonna double check for that as well. For your installation, you'll have to double check if there's switch 12 volt in your door, or you may have to run a power wire through this area and all that, but that'll depend on your car. Some cars have switch 12 volt already in the door. And if you do have that, that's great. So I'm gonna wire this up, connect our door module, and be right back. All right, so I'm wired in. Let's see, I have the strip disconnected right now, but we will check when the car power is on. So next we have to think about where we're gonna run these. So this one already, we want it in here. Now I want this to be kind of subtle. I'm gonna want it to be inside the door handle area, so behind this, so it doesn't shine in anyone's face. So I definitely want it coming up from this area. Just make sure from the other side, we're not gonna bump into anything. So we're gonna work on that. And this is just gonna live in here, poke out here, and illuminate this circular area. Get my drill, get the drill bit that came with the kit, and we'll work from here or here. Probably from the top here. There we go, we have a little glow in there, our light's there. So use a little bit of adhesive or the one that's included to get it to stick in there. So we're gonna attach it to the back of the door handle here. And you also want to be strategic with your wiring. So I'm actually going to zip tie it right here so it doesn't pull the LED out of the way. And that is secured. Awesome. Now for this panel, I'm actually thinking since this whole area is like recessed, I'm thinking maybe I can put the pocket light on the back panel in a place that's going to be, you know, not in my line of sight when I sit in the car. And I could do it at the bottom, could do it in the front here, maybe back here, behind this. That's probably a good spot. So I'll aim for this area. I'll drill a hole there. So I got the hole right here. This will fit here from the other side. As you can see, it's sticking out right here. Now I just have to attach the other side of it right here. And we have our little light in there now. You can kind of spot it in there. Now when you're doing this in your car, you really want to make sure you're taking your time, make sure everything is in the right spot before you drill. That way you don't make any mistakes and you're happy with the result. But so far, that is pretty cool. See that? It's subtle, it's really nice. Next we need to figure out how we're gonna run our light strip. I'm gonna run this out here so we can test it out. Could look good here. That would look pretty neat. Because I guess technically we could just hide it here through the trim panel that goes over the door handle. It's okay to be creative. Maybe for mocking up, this would be nice. And before you tie your panel together, you want to make sure you secure the control module as well, so that it doesn't rattle around when you're driving or anything like that. So I've installed the accent light on the dash as well. It comes from over there across. And then the second piece right here. We've got the door installed as well. We've got our glow in the footwells, and there we go, that's everything. And here's what it looks like. And our door here, we have our little accent light in here. We've got our little accent light in there. And then our main accent strip right here. So looking through that is really neat. Get the glow in the door panel, with the light back here, little door handle, and the whole dash. So I gotta say, this Ezonetronics kit really transformed the look of the car. The accent lights are really neat. The fill light, the handle light, the dash light, the footwell lights, all that comes together for a really custom look, and it could really make your car stand out and give it a personal touch. The fact that the door modules connect wirelessly to the main control module is a really nice touch as well. It gives you flexibility for mounting. I also just thought of something. If you have a coupe and only 2 doors, you could put 2 modules in a door. You could use the rear door module for accenting other parts of the car. You could put it in the back seat area, whatever you want. The limit is your creativity. I want to say a big thank you to Ezonetronics for sending me this to test out. And if you want to get one for yourself, I'll leave a link in the video description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and to hype the video because it really helps me out. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, or you want to watch me work on cars, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.